just received news that the Prime Minister, who's on a historic visit to Ukraine, has also paid a visit to the Gandhi statue. This visit assumes a lot of significance, and these are the visuals that are coming in right now. It's the first time in 30 years that you have an Indian Prime Minister who is paying an official visit to Ukraine.
And now he's walking to the statue of Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay, the Prime Minister being received there amid chants of Jai Shri Ram and Vande Mataram. So this is an important visit by the Prime Minister who has arrived in war-hit Ukraine. He is expected to share perspectives on, the ongoing conflict when he meets with President Zelensky. And these are the live visuals coming in there of the Prime Minister as he pay his respects to the Gandhi statue. And as you can see there in the backdrop, we can hear the sounds of the Indian community. He's being received with a lot of enthusiasm, greeted with namastes when he arrived in Ukraine, and of course chants of Jai Shri Ram. The Prime Minister there taking this time to greet all the well-wishers who have gathered in huge numbers, the Indian diaspora, and a lot of admirers of the Prime Minister as well. Sanjay Suri, CNN News 18's Sanjay Suri is with me as well. Sanjay, just while I'm speaking, I'm seeing the live visuals of the Prime Minister paying his respects to the Gandhi statue, and he's also being received amid chants of Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram. He's being greeted with much enthusiasm, a lot of excitement amidst the Indian diaspora, with namastes as he arrives in Ukraine as well. Clearly his visit, has triggered a lot of excitement amongst those who have travelled from far distances to witness this moment.
Clearly, and also it is a very visual reminder to us that a number of Indians who had left Ukraine earlier have returned. They have returned to Kiev. They have returned to other areas and other cities and towns across Ukraine in relatively small numbers, but it's a substantial trickle. And a lot of them have come from other towns to Kiev for this occasion. And this statue is set in a very popular park in Kiev, and a number of Indian events take place here. The Indian Independence Day, Republic Day events, and many occasions are celebrated here. It's a location that's very well known to a lot of lawmakers in Ukraine, to members of parliament, to leaders and people in the cultural sphere. There are choirs, Ukrainian choirs, that come and sing there. There's in fact, Sanskrit school not far from this location. Those students come and perform here regularly. So it's quite an Indian nucleus that is a familiar location in Kiev. And clearly the Prime Minister would have put this as part of his tour of Kiev. And he is there with Indian officials, a number of Indians who've gathered there. A number of Ukrainians also have been attending. There are a lot of Ukrainians who take a very active interest in Indian cultural and other affairs, political affairs. And so this would certainly be an occasion for a lot of them to gather to greet the Indian Prime Minister.
Yes.
And no doubt to
Absolutely.
hear from him if they can on where India stands amidst all that's going on.
Oh, indeed. Sanjay, as you rightly said, it's a huge moment for Indians who had been living in the country, those who had to leave. And they have a lot of admiration and a lot of respect for the Prime Minister, also with the way India came to their rescue. If you remember how India carried out Operation Ganga, trying to rescue as many Indians from Ukraine, pressing into service 76 commercial flights, 14 flights from the Indian Air Force. So that perhaps is also what we're seeing right now with the kind of enthusiasm, and we're hearing these loud cheers for the Prime Minister as well.
A very successful Operation Ganga, and that was a very extensive operation that was launched, and it was a huge logistical challenge that India met head on and carried out very successfully indeed. So this was not just admired for its success to the detail, and in an operation like that, detail is what counts. But also, people, a lot of them who were in Ukraine felt very protected, very cared for by the Indian government, that it should have made all these efforts to see that they were safe and well. Those early days, of course, were very tricky. We do not know, we did not know then certainly how it would play out. There was a very strong fear that Ukraine may even be overrun and occupied. Things haven't quite played out that way, but that was not something anyone was to know then.
Yes.
So there was a very serious risk to everybody from what may develop. It's not just Russian occupation forces. There could be running out of food supplies, out of essential services, medical services, water, electricity. All this was a danger, whether they could survive and get away with just living there if they had not been rescued. So this was a very big operation. People felt protected. They were taken to safety. And the credit for that certainly goes to the Indian government.